I want to welcome you to our January 11th Intermediate Planning Webinar, creating variable rate seating recs based on the multi-year average ROI map. My name is Dan Bott, and I am one of the Precision Business Planning Specialists here at AgSolver. And in today's webinar, we'll run through our agenda here real quick. We'll go through our introduction, and then we'll select a field that we want to create a variable rate planning rec based off of on the multi-year average. If you recall, about a month ago now, we exported a return on investment map out of PZM based off the multi-year average and created a variable rate fertilizer script off of that, and then also created this variable rate multi-year planting rec. And then we'll select zones and work scenarios represented standard costs and assumptions. And for today, I've already done the majority of the legwork preparing for this. So really, today we're going to be looking at the results, and then we'll compare ROI on zones and scenarios, and then we'll follow up with any questions that you might have. And before we hop into PZM and show a little in SMS, I want to mention if you do have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them in the chat box below. You see my contact information, my email, which is djbot@agsolver.com, or you can contact our support team via email at support@agsolver.com, and then you can call my cell phone number anytime, which is 319-238-1978. Now we'll hop into the application. And so we'll move that over there. And so what we did about a month ago is we exported the multi-year average ROI map out of PZM, which looks like, so we exported this map out of PZM, and then brought that into SMS. And how we can export out the multi-year average map is very similar as exporting map layers out at a scenario level, which is just simply clicking on the little options drop-down menu right beside the multi-year average performance name, and then we have the export feature, which will export out that as a shapefile. And then now we'll hop over to SMS. And so going back, so in 2016 we created or actually about a year ago now, we created a hypothetical return on investment map within PZM based off of return on investment, along with, at the time, the commodity prices and input prices. And this is the map that we came out with, and this is just basing it off of 1 year potential of what 2016 could turn into. And what we did was we created a variable rate seating rec based off of that 1 year average, where the red grids were planted at a population of 22,000. The yellow grids were planted at a population of 28, and the green were planted at a population of 36,000 seeds per acre. And going into 2017, we are looking at the possibility of returning this field back to corn production. But instead of basing it off of just a single year or a hypothetical return on investment map, we decided, what if we base it off of historical ROI? And this is that ROI multi-year average map layer that we exported out of PZM, brought into SMS. And what I did was I created another prescription for 2017, where on the red grids we plan at a population of 20,000, The orange grids are planting at population 26. The yellow is at 32, and then the green is at 38,000. And this is more of an average of the field. Right in the middle here, we fixed we had water management issues, so we ran strings of tile. But you can see on the red grids, that's where predominantly we have a soil type issue. And so what I did, I exported this map layer out of SMS and then re-brought that back into PZM as a as-intended map. And what that looks like is right here. And so we created a scenario based off of our 2016 yield that we had for this field and applied that new ROI map based off the multi-year average to this particular field. And you can see, yeah, we are making a little money with a low return on investment, along with we made a little money on this entire field. If we apply this feeding rec and we have the relatively close to the same input prices that we had in 2016. But if we look at 2016, where we based off of the single year, and actually what I will do, I'll pull up the scenario comparison. So right next to the field name, we have a drop-down icon. We'll click on Compare Scenarios. And on the left-hand side, we'll have our actual production 2016 map. And this is based off of that single year ROI map versus 2017 based off the multi-year ROI map. The budget in both of these scenarios is the same. The seed cost is the same. The only thing that we're changing is the planting rates between these two scenarios. So we're using the same yield. Everything else is the same, just different planting populations. And in 2016, based off of our yield of 184 bushels and our crop budget that we have in place, we actually lost a little over $9 an acre with a total field profit of just shy of negative $300. But if we achieve those same yields at 184 with the relatively same commodity prices, same commodity prices and also inputs, you can actually see now we're making a little bit of money, just over $2.60 an acre. You can actually make and have a positive ROI. And if we look at total field profit, now we went from losing about $300 on this field to a positive $83. And so these are both variable rate scenarios, just basing it off of different years and different. But what's interesting, if say we go back to a year like 2014, when we planted this field to a solid stand of, I believe it was about 36.5 or 36,500 seeds or 37,000 seeds per acre. You can see we have much different financial performance. Granted, in 2016 we did actually yield a little better, 184 bushel. But you can see the difference between a solid stand planting rec versus a variable rate planting rec, where before and commodity prices were stronger in 2014. And you can see we went from losing $94 an acre to making a positive $2.63. We had just a little over 12.5% return on investment change. We greatly increased our production efficiency, decreased our acreage opportunity ratio by about half, along with working capital opportunity. And really the take-home driver on this scenario is we went from losing $3,000 to actually potentially making a profit in 2017. And commodity prices that we're basing it off of in 2017 is actually $3.40 corn. And then below here you can see the distribution bar chart that compares acres to profitability per acre. And then we can actually print off this page as well. If we want to look at a straight yield map, we can look at yield maps compared along with return on investment maps. So very stark difference between 2014 and potential 2017, or if we want to look at what actually happened in 2016 based off of that single year financial performance, we can view that as well. But now I'd like to open the floor up for any questions anyone might have regarding this scenario. And I do want to mention that once this webinar has been completed, it will be posted onto our AgSolver YouTube channel. If there is no questions, or if you have a question that comes up later on, please feel free to reach out to me. You have my email along with my cell phone number, and I'd love to meet you in person, or we can schedule a webinar and work through any scenarios that you would like to see on your individual farm or on a field. And it doesn't have to be this one. So I want to thank you for viewing our January 11th Intermediate Planning webinar, creating variable rate seeding recs based on the multi-year average ROI map. Thank you.